everyone. State Treasurer Dale Falwell would like to welcome everybody to the November 7th, 9:30 a.m. meeting of the Board of Trustees of the North Carolina ABLE Program. I call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone. We have one board member attending in person and others attending virtually. Please join for our Pledge of Allegiance and then our salute to the North Carolina flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of North Carolina and pledge to the Old North State love, loyalty, and faith. Thank you all. Please, if anyone wishes to make a public comment, please sign in or email Patty at our public comment section. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be posted online as well as all board materials. We'll be taking roll call by name and all votes that need to be taken. Anybody makes a motion or second to a motion will be considered a yes vote for efficiency purposes. If you must leave the meeting, please notify us so that we can record that in the meeting minutes. Likewise, if you're joining us virtually, please state your name before speaking. And finally, any text recorded messages on any personal devices that concern the business of this meeting are to be considered public record. Lastly, as we go through our proceedings, please mute your phone so that if you're not speaking, there won't be any interference or distractions. With that, Mr. Secretary, if you'll call the roll.
Treasurer Falwell.
Here.
Katie Boskin.
Present.
Claudine Burns.
Here.
Chris Egan.
I'm here.
Melinda Plew. And Marquita Robertson.
Here.
Got a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Our ethics awareness identification of conflicts, please take a moment to review the agenda that's been sent to you. Does anyone have a potential actual or of appearance of a conflict of interest regarding matters that are coming before us? Hearing none, should a conflict or potential conflict of interest arise during our meeting, please let me as the chair know. I'm very honored to, at this point of our agenda, to introduce and to go through the swearing in of our newest ABLE board member, Claudine Burns. I want to extend a warm welcome to her. She'll be replacing Tim Smith. She brings extensive experience in finance from her career in banking. I look forward to the contributions of her experience to our rich, diverse, and active board regarding achieving a better life experience. First, introduced Claudine to our ABLE program a few years ago because of her interest in children with disabilities. Every time that we've had an ABLE board meeting, I've left the agenda in the program with her, and I'm just super excited that she said yes to this. I know her as, in so many aspects of her life, as the glue that keeps things and organizations together, and I know for a fact that she'll bring that same experience to this ABLE board. With that, if you'll do for the swearing in.
In between.
Great. Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you, Claudine Burns, solemnly affirm that you will support and maintain the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of North Carolina, and inconsistent therewith, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as a trustee of the North Carolina ABLE Program Board, so help you God?
I will. I do. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're not going to be famous on social media.
You can do this now or toward the end if you want to say a few words about what your heart is about this issue. I'll open it up. Or you
Sure. I mean, just a few words. I'm so grateful to have to be able to be on here with all of you, and I think that I have a lot to contribute to all of you. I have a son with autism who was diagnosed when he was 2.5, and he's now 27. So we've gone through this journey together, which has been difficult, but also very rewarding. So I'm hoping that I can contribute to people that have not gone through the journey or are still going through the journey to be helpful to the community and everyone in North Carolina.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just want to announce Marquita was reappointed by the governor. So Marquita, congratulations on your reappointment.
Thank you, and I am happy to continue my service and look forward to working with your wonderful staff and you as you leave and the new treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution regarding the appreciation of service to Tim Smith. Do I hear such a motion?
This is
So
Chris
moved.
Egan. So moved.
Second, Melinda.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Melinda.
Hey.
Motion second. I just spoke in Warsaw this morning, so Melinda, I don't know where you are, but you're probably closer to there than you are here. So.
That is correct.
No, Waxhaw. Where was I speaking?
You were in Wax. That's right. You're Waxhaw.
Waxhaw.
You should have come by and see me.
Somewhere in Union County this morning.
Yep,
We have a
that's me.
motion, a second. Any further discussion regarding the resolution? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Treasurer Falwell,
Aye.
Katie Boskin,
Aye.
Claudine Byrne,
Aye.
and Marquita Robertson.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all, and we'll get that resolution to him. I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes, and generally, Ms. Burns, that if somebody's just been appointed and they weren't part of the previous proceedings, they abstain from this vote because they weren't here.
Understood.
So motion is second regarding the meeting minutes of May 9th.
This is Katie Boskin. So moved.
Second.
Marquita, second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Treasurer Falwell,
Aye.
Chris Egan,
Aye.
and Melinda Plough.
Aye.
Thank you all very much. As most of you know, and Katie knows this, I chair the State Banking Commission, and she is the director of state banks. This is my last able board meeting, and this program was got off the ground legislatively 14 years ago, probably, with Senator Richard Burr in Washington, D.C. To change the IRS code in order for it able to be what it is today. And I think it went live my first day.
2017.
So Treasurer Kyle, who's now the mayor-elect of Raleigh, worked on this, and then we lit it up on January of 2017. And I've been honored to chair this board over that period of time. Also honored to have worked with our staff, legal and support staff, those other parts of my life that are the glue that are over here and around me, and to make sure that our consortium, where we work with so many other states to combine our resources to keep fees low, works the way that it was intended to work. Also want to thank members of the North Carolina General Assembly who have helped us adjust this program from time to time as needed. And I'm not sure if we ever got anything else done federally. My hunch is nothing happens federally anymore. But there may have been a tweak or two. Did we get one tweak in the ABLE program?
There is
The Able Age Adjustment Act.
Age Adjustment Act and the Able to Work.
It happened?
It did.
Oh, it did. Oh, they did get something done. Okay, that's fantastic. Both parties I'm blaming both parties, so not just one party or one administration. So it's been an honor to be a part of this board. We'll now go into to our administrative update.
Thank you. And just to share some stats, how the program has grown under your tenure, Treasurer Falwell. We are now quickly approaching 2,700 accounts in the program and close to $31 million. So thank you for your support in helping us grow the program. I'm going to start by going over our budget for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. This is the second year of the biennium, so our appropriation budget is the same as last year, $209,074. In terms of additional revenue, the program receives $5 of the annual account fee that is collected from each account in the program. At the time we were putting the budget together, we were right around 2,600 accounts. So we are estimating that we will collect in the neighborhood of $13,000 over this next year in terms of revenues for the program, which help us to do the things we do here within this office to promote the program. And looking at what we expect to expend next year, a few of the major changes are, as most of you know, the NCAA ABLE program does not have any dedicated staff to the program, and so we borrow resources from the retirement division, mainly the supplemental retirement plan group, but also others within the retirement division. And so over this past year, we've seen where our general counsel is being more leveraged in other areas, and as a result, we are reducing his allocation to the program from 10% down to 5%. Also, this past year, we had a SRP, a communication person, who allotted 25% of their time. That position has been eliminated, as well as there was another role in our communications group that had a 10% allocation. That role has also been eliminated. That will result in a decrease of about $40,000 in terms of payback that the ABLE program would need to reimburse the retirement division for the use of their resources. You can see at the bottom of page 1 of the budget, the 4 people that we do have a time allocation to the program this year. And so with that, all other expenditures remain the same. And so you can see that our total expected appropriation and receipts is about $222,000, and we expect to expend around $138,000, leaving us with about $84,000 left over. Any questions regarding the budget?
This is Nikita. I have a question.
Yes.
So with the
And if you
reduction
could,
in,
and if you could possibly speak up, it's very, very hard to hear you.
okay, I'm sorry, is it better now or not really?
A little bit.
Hold on, let me take my, okay, now is it any better?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. In regards to the general counsel's time being reduced, was this because there was less able work, or he just was more focused on SRP? And is that a realistic, that 5% realistic going forward?
Yes, we actually sat down and went through this. One, it's there's the legal able work is less intensive, moving forward from what we're seeing, as well as he's being leveraged by other areas.
Okay. So, in the event that the demand increases, what will that look like? Like, is there
Well,
flexibility for him to spend more time, or will it be like, no, he can't work on it because he's already maxed out his 5%?
no, we had the flexibility to, exceed that, if we need, but we don't foresee that we will, uh, need to exceed that 5%.
Okay, thank you for explaining.
Sure. Next, I wanted just to, I
Just one
want to
second. I'm
mention,
sorry.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, this is Katie Boston. Um, with the elimination of the communications, the expenses there, are we going to continue to market Able? I mean, and can you give me some more
That's my
detail about
question.
how
Yeah.
we're going to
Ye-
backfill there?
Yes, so we will continue to market Able. I myself will be playing a larger role in that. It used to be a shared responsibility between myself, and the comms person, but I'm now shouldering that. And we are not going to slow down on our marketing of Able.
Katie, I would,
Thank you.
So
uh,
this is. I'm sorry.
sorry, Commissioner, this is Treasurer Falwell. Uh, Anything that Able needs, as far as a position, slots, budget, material, anything that they will ever need from a marketing standpoint, this is not in cement. Whatever they need, they will have an opportunity uh, to continue to market the program as needed.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I think Marquita wanted to say something.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Marquita. So, has your SRP workload shifted? Are you handling less things with you being more engaged in marketing? I'm just trying to understand the shift.
Yeah, so, a lot of our marketing efforts occur after hours. So it's just me working additional hours, to cover these types of events.
Marquita, this is the treasurer again. We don't talk about personnel issues, but uh, it wasn't our desire to have this vacancy. And as Chairman Boskin, Commissioner Boskin and others know, uh, there are vacancies in state government. And so we're trying to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the ABLE program. And should a unbelievable person appear regarding marketing or the ability to market, that's something that Jeff is going to continually be on the lookout for.
And you guys may or may not recall, but last year, we took the SRP operation analyst and we doubled their time from 10% to 20%. Kristen Merrick is the SRP operations analyst. She's really got a passion for this program. So we've been, allowing her to engage and do a lot of outreach for us. So, we have stepped up efforts on behalf of some of the other staff as well, as a result of some of these changes.
Okay, so if I'm understanding, you are recruiting for a candidate for this vacant position. You just have not found a candidate, and in the interim, you're going to be handling the marketing.
So we are not currently recruiting, but as the treasurer said, we have our eye out. So if, we were to come across the right candidate, we would work to see if we could secure that. Certainly, we would love for the General Assembly to, and as part of this appropriation budget, award us with, a full-time person. But yes, in the interim, I will be, I'm spending more of my time, after hours and on weekends, along with Kristen Merrick doing the same thing to market the program. So we're not slowing down our marketing efforts in any way.
Yeah, I mean, that's noted that you're not slowing it down, but I'm just trying to get a understanding of, and maybe I'm missing something. There is a position that was vacant. You guys are looking for someone, but you're not recruiting. I'm unclear how that happens. Like, or is this a networking thing? Like, I'm just trying to get an understanding of what you're saying.
Yeah, so
How, go
the
ahead.
position that was vacated was on the supplemental retirement plan side. And so again, if we, where we have that being more, that is a receipts-based budget. If we find the right person, we would look to put the wheels in motion to hire someone back into that role who could then allocate a portion of their time to the ABLE program.
Okay. So how are you looking for the right person? I think is what I'm missing. Like, how does that work without a formal recruitment
Just
process?
through a networking and contacts.
Can you say a little more?
I
Because
mean,
it
that's
sounds
basically,
like it sounds like you are. I don't want to. I mean, this just does not sound clear or sound like some. I mean, are you really looking for somebody, or are we just saying we're looking for some if the right person comes along?
yes.
I'm just
We're
trying to
not actively
understand what's.
looking for
Oh,
somebody,
okay.
but if the right person comes along.
Christie had something to say.
So yeah, Marquita, I started here about 5.5 years ago, and I've been working on the ABLE program since that time. And we were lucky enough to have a position filled.
You identify yourself for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry, Christy Farrelly, Communications Manager. So part of my time was allocated to NC ABLE. For 2.5 years, we didn't have anyone in this SRP position. I come from private sector advertising and marketing. I bring that expertise here, and I've always operated with, it's not quantity, it's quality. And that is what we have delivered with a very small team. So we're not stopping. The momentum that we have is still going. The foundation is set for us to continue to grow. With the addition of Kristen, we've been able to really go further with some of our outreach and association participation in conferences and things like that. Jeff has certainly played an integral role in doing all of the increase in webinars for all of our community partners. I'm taking on the role for some of those. But, over this time, we built a foundation, we grew the foundation, and we're just continuing that momentum. I don't think that anything is stopping, but when we have the opportunity to fill the role with the right person, that person will fill in and help us grow even more. Now, I don't think anything is stopping or changing in terms of what we have already achieved.
Okay, and just to be clear, you guys have done great work, and I'm not saying anything about the work that you're doing. I think we've all been very pleased with what you guys have done. My question is really about the bandwidth and you guys working nights and weekends, but not actively looking for someone to support you. Like I said, this is not this is not saying, oh, the work's going to stop, able's going to be underserved. It's just trying to understand what's going on organizationally, and it just isn't clear, besides the fact that if you bump into somebody, they're a good fit, you may bring them on, and that's what it sounds like you're saying, and that's a bit concerning for me as a board member. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying. But thank you for what you're doing, and your contributions and your marketing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Makita, this is Christy. That position actually falls under me. And I think one thing that I'm trying to do is really assess the role and the responsibilities of that position so that they best serve the retirement systems as well as NC-ABLE. And so we are taking some time, since that position did have a vacancy, we are taking some time to kind of reevaluate what that position's responsibilities are. And when we have that, and when we have that position, we will definitely put something out to post. In the meantime, of course, as we're increasing our communications with Jeff and Kristen in the community, if they see someone that they feel would be an amazing fit, maybe that process moves forward in a different way. But we have the expectation that very soon we'll be able to define those roles and responsibilities and put something out there to actually hire that position.
It's a shared position,
Exactly. It is a shared position.
80-20, 75-25, what is it?
Yeah, 25 with NC-ABLE was what the allocation was before.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. And I'm not gonna, I'm done asking the questions about this subject. So, but thank you.
No, but it's good. I mean, we need people, you know, I think it's a good question.
Marquita, this is Tom Causey, Executive Director. Yeah, when the
SRP,
the
system.
whole retirement systems division, SRP falls under there. Jeff reports to me. Yeah, so we're, and Christy's right, because a lot of the work that was being done by, the person that was in before, Christy had to review it, do a lot of work with that person. And yes, we've added other staff resources to it. And when she left, it was just like, okay, let's pause and see, do we, what do we do with that position? How do we work it? Just like Christy had said. But Christy's taken up this team. They sit all right next to each other. So anything that needs to be done, whether it's Jeff or anybody else on the team, there may not be even an allocation on some people that are helping because
Comms department.
Comms or SRP, right? So there's they work together, and that allocation, yes, it's set so we can budget. If it's but sometimes whether it's Reed, he has to concentrate on something else one week and then work more hours the next week to pitch in on legal items. It's more fluid than, I know the numbers say 5% or 25% or 20%, but they all do work together in whatever needs to be done. And it just, this position became vacant just a few months ago, and we're just trying to figure out, well, what do we do with it or not, or what does Christy do? And team, and like Jeff said, Jeff's doing a lot of he's doing these things on the weekend and at night. So, they're all pitching in to try and make sure it keeps going. They try and pitch in and make sure this keeps going while we're evaluating the position, even though we don't have it formally posted to fill.
And also this is Christy, just for kind of an awareness thing too, the program just launched about when you started. So there's a lot more work that goes into building the foundation of a program. A lot of those things that were part of that growth are now more automated. So that's just an important thing to bring up as well. Things are a
Yeah,
little
well,
more
thank you
automated,
thank you for explaining that. And you probably aren't familiar with me, but I actually worked at the treasurer's office and was helping to get it started in the previous administration. So I understand all the work that went into it, and the original allocation that we had from the General Assembly, which was a bit more than this. So, and that's why I'm asking, because there were at some point, if there were full-time allocations at the beginning, I think. And so just, it seems like that has dwindled as we've moved through the process with vacancies, because we don't have they're not filled, we return the money. And anyone there, correct me if I'm misstating this, but it sounds like that's what's happened. And I just want to be mindful of that as we move forward. But I'm also have to say that I have to dip off at 10, and it is 10 o'clock. So you'll be done. I'm done answering all of my questions, but thank you guys for what you're doing.
We do have a quorum.
There you go. Well, again, Marquita, thank you for bringing that up. You're right. We did used to have more resource from the General Assembly. We would love to see that again. So I think we could do, a lot more wonderful work if we had a full-time outreach coordinator. So, again,
The right one.
thank you for your comments and your passion for the program.
Thank you, Marquita.
Thank y'all.
Sure.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also wanted just to touch base, back in early October, I sent out a memo to the board that referenced some investment changes that are going to be upcoming on December the 13th. Paul Supay from a census is going to address that during his time, but just again, he'll be talking about the changes that are upcoming, and that was the memo that went out in early October. As the treasurer mentioned earlier, us being part of an alliance, and there's 19 state programs in that, we get a lot of benefit from that in terms of fees and being able to negotiate things. And I'm proud to announce that back in July, the alliance reached 45,000 accounts, which brought us to another fee break milestone. So we'll be seeing a $2 reduction in the annual fee as a result of reaching that milestone. And that is basically effective for the fourth quarter. So very pleased to see that fee reduction for our account holders. And then lastly, I want to mention in late September, the census, our program manager rolled out a new feature called the Entity Dashboard. This is a feature that really allows our representative payee folks a much easier way to enroll people as well as manage their accounts. And so it allows for them to log on and see all of the individual accounts that they have under their purview. They can go into each account through a single sign-on process, which makes managing the accounts much easier. Before, they would have to log out, log into the next account, log out, log into the next account. So this really kind of streamlines that, and it's a really big enhancement for our representative payee community. And I think we might have been actually one of the first states to have a new entity sign up using the dashboard. And so we're pleased to see that that's gaining some ground and will be a big plus for that group. That's the end of my comments, unless anybody has any questions about anything else that I've covered.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none.
Treasurer
We'll now
Folwell?
go to, yes, go
This
ahead.
is Katie Boskin. I just want to thank the staff for all the work that they've put in. I heard the over hours that they're committing. So thank you to Jeff and Christy and Tom too for paying attention to the program, making sure that we're on track. And I'm excited to hear that we got that fee reduction on the back of the number of accounts.
Say that? Yeah. So, the treasurer wanted me to clarify in terms of the nights and weekends work. It's when we have a webinar for a group, and the best time for that group is after work. So, a lot of parent groups, the best time for them to do a webinar is 6 or 7 p.m. And then a lot of things that we do on the weekends is with our partners like the Special Olympics, the Autism Society. They hold walk runs and different events that we attend, trying to get the word out about ABLE. We'll staff a table or a booth at those events, and a lot of those take place on Saturdays.
Thank you all for doing that very much.
Thank you.
We're now down to a census. So, you have a short presentation, Kimberly and Lori and Paul?
Yes, we do.
Oh, Christy, I apologize. Stand down for a moment. Christy, I apologize.
No problem. Yeah, so I was just going to share some communications highlights. This is Christy with communications. Communications highlights since around May this year. On this first slide, you can see that these are just a few of the events and partnerships that we've participated in. Like Jeff mentioned, Special Olympics and the Autism Society of North Carolina continue to be a wonderful sponsorship opportunity for us. And Kristen has been instrumental in initiating and attending a lot of the on-site events and promoting the program. We do continue to do webinars and get a lot of requests for webinars for different groups. So that's a great way to expand awareness. We recently launched, on the next slide, we launched an eligibility survey on our website. So this is an opportunity for individuals and their families to go through a survey that branches out depending on their answers and helps them really identify their eligibility and if it's the right program for them. This slide shows some of the results of that survey because we're able to track that as they make their way through. Notably, I think there's a large population, they're opening the account on their own behalf as opposed to a parent or a family member opening it for them. I think that's pretty impressive. And that also many are not eligible or not receiving SSI or SSDI. They're opening an account based on a written diagnosis. And also, notably, 16% participate in their company's 401k. So they're working individuals, and I think that's pretty neat. That it limits what they can save based on the able to work, but everybody can save up to $18,000, soon to be $19,000, in their able account, whether they contribute to the 401k or not. On the next slide, we have just some web highlights. We had over 18,000 views, with the second highest page being the enrollment checklist. And that's important because that's really the last step you take before you actually enroll. And that is demonstrated, obviously, in the numbers of enrollments that we've seen. The other thing is most of our visits traditionally have been right here in the Triangle area. But we're seeing increased visits and greater numbers of visits and unique visits from all over the state now. And that, again, is due to outreach and some of our webinars. So the survey, of course, demonstrated we do have a population of working individuals. And as we're moving forward to the end of the year, we're going to be launching, and I don't want to diminish that launch, but I do think it's important to mention here, we're going to be doing an amazing partnership with Krispy Kreme. It's been about a year in the making, and it takes a lot to operationalize what they're trying to do. So I don't want to diminish that larger announcement that will be coming soon, but I think that this program will launch for NC Able to be present in the corporate space. This is kind of like the launching pad for that. And Krispy Kreme is going to offer the NC Able program as a part of their benefit package nationwide. So that, we'll be able to reach an amazing amount of people who would benefit for the program. And then finally, I did want to say, I have been here about 5.5 years, and the program has really grown organically. The treasurer has been a big part of that. Going to schools, going to universities, to community college programs that have transition programs. When he's out doing a check presentation, he brings up NC Able. And so that has really contributed to a lot. We've launched an independent website. We've had marketing materials, increased our presence at community events. And when I started, we had 700 accounts with 5 million in assets. And today we have nearly 2,600, over 30 million in assets. So it's pretty impressive. And it's good work by a small, dedicated team.
Thank you. And you mentioned a Krispy Kreme a few moments ago. That'll come out next month, but It does have, I think that's portable to potentially other businesses across North Carolina, but you got to start somewhere. So we're very honored to have Krispy Kreme participating in this. And since I wear several hats, it comes to us from different kinds of places, but Krispy Kreme also had lots and lots of money sitting at nccash.com, which is public record. So us being able to connect with Krispy Kreme through another division of the Treasurer's Office was a small part of the entree that Christie took advantage of. So thank you for all that. Any questions? Hearing none, census.
Thank you. My name's Kimberly Shockley. I'm the Relationship Manager for North Carolina ABLE. And I just want to begin with welcoming Claudine to the board and thanking Treasurer Falwell. Your team is excellent to work with. It's always a pleasure. They're open to new ideas and to providing new ideas. So thank you for everything you've contributed to the program. Just based on the earlier conversation, I have a couple updates before I go into my presentation. One is that Ascensus is actually hiring a new full-time person dedicated to ABLE marketing. That person's going to be starting later this month. I don't have the full job description, but just wanted to point out that part of what she's going to be doing is reaching out to the larger entity groups and helping get inroads to those groups for our member states within each individual state. So I hope we're helping as far as reaching marketing goals. And also I apologize because I hope we're going to start having you work more nights and weekends as this person comes into their role and is able to help make those connections. So just wanted to point that out. Also wanted to mention that reduction based on the 45,000 accounts, because you hit the breakpoint in July, the reduced fee occurred in October. So that reduction has already occurred. And like was mentioned, it will be seen in the statements for Q4. So those will be coming out in 2025. So that reduction has already impacted account owners for North Carolina ABLE. The final thing I wanted to mention before I go into the presentation is that the audit of the ABLE Consortium Trust was completed on September 6th by Landmark. They have been doing our audit for a number of years. The audit was for the year ending June 30th, 2024, and there were no findings in the audit. So I just wanted to make this board aware of the fact that the trust has been audited for the year ending June 30th, 2024.
Yeah, just to pause you, I'm sorry, but just want to make sure you're aware of the remaining time we have and for you and Paul combined.
Not a problem. I will go through the slides as efficiently as possible. If you want to just jump to slide 3.
Yep.
You can see that the assets are now at the end of September, 30,777,000. That's about a 40% increase year over year. So very impressive growth to this plan within the past year, and hopefully those entity accounts will just see further increases. Slide 4. So the contributions by month have been pretty consistent this quarter. And if you look at July, August, and September of last year, you can see pretty similar, but we've seen a bit of growth. So that is always a plus. If you want to just jump to slide 5. Contributions by type. You can see that about 75% of our contributions are made through either an EBT, so an electronic contribution from a bank account, or a check contribution. So the majority of members are contributing in those ways. And then you see some other various, recurring contribution is the one I'd like to see go up, but all other contribution types are a pretty low percentage. Next slide. For contributions by group, you can see that the highest contributing years at this point are for those between the ages of 20 and 29, I apologize. And that's been pretty consistent over the past 3 years. 2024 numbers, you can see in many age brackets are already at or near 2023 numbers, and we're only at the end of Q3. So I think that's a positive when you see those contributions are going up each year that the program is available for account owners. Slide 7. This is our distributions by month. Those seem to stay pretty consistent. I think in their consistency, they're showing a bit more saving because we do have 500 more accounts who are making pretty much the same level of distributions than this time last year. So just something to note. Slide 8. And this is just distribution by type. As you can see, most people are taking a withdrawal to their bank, whether it's their own bank account or that of a person who's assisting them with maintaining their needs. For the most part, they do have outside accounts that they're utilizing. And the other is a qualified withdrawal to the account owner. So the account owners are being able to access and utilize their funds in ways that benefit them more than when ABLE was not available, I'm hoping. On to the next slide. And you're not losing your mind. I don't know why the bar for 20 to 29 and 2024 isn't there, but you will see it's similar. I sent a new copy to Kristen just for your records, but pretty consistent with what you saw for contributions. The 2024 line is nearing, but not quite at the 2023 line for distributions. So pretty much the same bell curve that you saw in the contributions, where those who are contributing more are also utilizing the funds more. Slide 10, which is new accounts by month. We had 62 new accounts in September. That's an increase of almost 20 accounts compared to last September, which I think is great. We have 517 new accounts year to date in 2024, and we only had 439 all of 2023. And that brings total plan accounts to 2,679. And then there's the accounts by disability type. I think what really stands out is the number of people utilizing the accounts that have developmental disorders or an intellectual disability. That is the majority of the assets within the North Carolina ABLE plan. I think that falls pretty consistently with what our other plans show as well. And then if you go to the accounts by eligibility, the account owners eligible for supplemental security income benefits is the highest by far. It's about 50%. And then the second to that is the account owners are eligible for Social Security disability benefits. Just items of interest. And then finally, these are all of the states that participate in the National ABLE Alliance. As you can see, North Carolina is amongst the top third of states with their close to $31 million, right near most of the other higher ranking states within the plan. Big thank you to you from the other states as far as these breakpoints that are being hit. That was all I had as far as data, and Paul can go into fund performance unless someone has any questions.
Not hearing any questions. Paul, please proceed. And I think we have a lot of the portfolio performance here if you want to hit the high spots.
Sounds good. And I know that Kim was pretty efficient in time. I'll try to be the same here. We could go to the next slide here. Perfect. So I do just want to kind of point out a couple things. As Kim said, we're about 30.8 million in assets. That's about 7.7% growth quarter over quarter and 41.4% growth year over year. Just as a comparison to the National ABLE Alliance as a whole, they were about 8.1% for the quarter and 43% year over year. So a little bit behind what the program was doing as a whole. And that's a little bit surprising just because North Carolina Able has the highest percentage of assets that are in those kind of top four most aggressive portfolios, the aggressive, moderately aggressive, growth, and moderate. They have the highest levels of equity. North Carolina Able, out of those 19 states in DC, has the highest amount allocated towards there. So you would expect a little bit more growth in assets because equities have done so well over the past quarter and over the past year. So it might be something where the other states, there might be a few other states that just have a lot more contributions or have less withdrawals that are causing that growth overall in the program to be a little bit higher than what North Carolina Able has. As we are looking at returns, obviously strong returns for the performance and everything for both equities and bonds. We do see a little bit of variance between the portfolios and the custom benchmarks on the last two portfolios. That's the moderately conservative and the conservative option, and that's mostly due to the Sallie Mae high yield savings, which is the cash piece of those two portfolios. That is being replaced with the changes that we're having in December. So mid-December, December 13th, we're doing changes to the plan. That Sallie Mae piece is coming out, and we're replacing that with the Vanguard high yield, Vanguard money market fund. So the difference there is the Sallie Mae bank product doesn't really have a benchmark. It uses underlying investments that have kind of a duration or loans or so that's about 4 or 5 years or so in duration for those loans. The underlying to a money market is much more like a 3-month treasury. So they use a lot of treasuries, and that will follow up that 3-month treasury benchmark much more. So what we'll see is that variance will come back in line with that money market product as the underlying part to that for those two portfolios. And also with the changes that we're having in December, we're adding a 7th investment option to this list. So you'll see a money market option that can be invested into. So the Vanguard cash federal money market will be the underlying product to that money market option. And the difference between what we're getting the yield for the current Sallie Mae is about 4.2% per year, and the current yield for that money market piece is about 4.74. So straight off, we'll have a little bit higher yield for that underlying product now, which will be a nice bump up. Hopefully, we can keep that yield high. So moving to the next slide is so this is the underlying portions of the target risk. This is the equity side. So the top two funds here are the representation of the kind of U.S. equity market. So you have that Vanguard Institutional Index, which measures the large caps, and the Vanguard Extended Market Index, which measures the small and mid caps. So in the past, we've been using those two funds to cover that market. We are going to be taking both of those funds out and replacing that with a Vanguard total market. So what is going to happen is we're going to get a little less expense. So we get a little cheaper cost there, reduces expenses just a little bit. And it takes away any kind of tilt that we've had in the past. We had a little bit more weight towards small and mid caps. This will be more in line with what you see with kind of the overall U.S. equity market. So that will help performance, so it's been. I mean, the large caps have really kind of outperformed small and mid caps in the past. So hopefully that continues, and that will bring things more in line with what we'll see. So the developed markets and emerging markets will stay in place. Emerging markets outperform the developed markets due to really China starting to do a little bit more stimulus over there. So there's going to be, with the elections, we'll see what happens. I mean, Trump is going to put in tariffs on countries far away. So we'll see what that's going to cause with emerging markets funds there. But these funds are going to stay in place between the developed markets, the emerging markets, and real estate will all stay in place, and the allocations will stay in place for the rest of these underlying funds here. And if we can move ahead to the next slide, which is the fixed income. So the fixed income, we are doing some changes here. As of December, we are adding a fixed income to the growth portfolio and the moderate portfolio. So high yield with kind of markets doing very well. The equity market's doing very well. Credit market's doing well. High yield has been something that in the fixed income area has been kind of the strongest part of the fixed income markets for the last 10 to 15 years, and it has continued to do very well as the equity markets have been strong. So we're going to add that to two more portfolios, just a small allocation there. And the other asset allocation changes that we're making are that we are moving a little bit more towards kind of longer duration bonds. So the total bond market at the top there, that's a little bit longer duration. It's about 5 years in duration for the underlying bonds. That will get a little bit more allocation, and we'll take allocation from the short-term bond market and from the short-term inflation protected market. So as interest rates go down, obviously the Fed reduced rates by 50 basis points this past quarter, and the expectation is in the years ahead that rates will continue to come down over the next couple of years. If rates go down, performance gets better for those kind of longer term bonds. So moving allocation from those funds to those longer duration bonds like the total bond market should help performance in the future as well. So we are not touching kind of the international bond piece, but I think it's basically those four kind of bonds that are getting kind of an allocation change to them. Any other
Thank you.
questions? Any of the underlying fund performance?
Any questions for Paul? Thank you, Paul, and Census for joining us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're now down to our public comment section. No one has signed up for public comment, so I hereby deem public comment section closed. I think we're at the part of the agenda. We'll go round robin for any additional comments that any board members would like to make a couple of closing comments.
Hey, this is Melinda. Just wanted to say, I'm one of the few in this group that's been around from the very beginning. I so enjoy my time with this group. I am immensely grateful for Jeff's presentations every time I ask him, for Christy connecting me with all sorts of groups to include Krispy Kreme. But really, Treasurer Falwell, I'm going to miss you, and I'm going to miss your wit and sarcasm and your dry humor. And you don't have to be my boss. I just get to enjoy you in this kind of company. But I really appreciate all that you have been for the disability community in this state that I love. And I'm really going to miss you. And I hope you won't be a stranger.
Thank you, Melinda. I didn't know I had all those things.
You got them all of it.
Thank you. Any others on the round robin, board members?
Well, Treasurer Falwell, I'll echo what Melinda just said there. And also wanted to welcome Claudine to the group. I think you'll find this is a great board to be on. And it's very rewarding on a personal level. So welcome. Hope to meet you soon in person.
Any others?
Yes, hey, this is Chris, and I will echo those well-said comments and intentions and just add briefly my own. Treasurer, thank you for your commitment, and to the staff. This program is so important to people with disabilities, and like Melinda, I've been around since the beginning and all the advocacy to get here, and happened to have the opportunity to be part of Senator Burr signing off on this. But this means so much to individuals and families, and the growth and the partnerships that have been established are working well. This is successful, and you have been a huge part of the leadership of that. So thank you for your service, and thank you for your commitment and work in this particular space on behalf of people with disabilities.
Thank you, Chris. Claudine?
This is Claudine. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to serving with all of you. And this is a passion of mine. I'm looking forward to it very much. And thank you, Dale.
Just a few closing comments before I gavel out. Number one is that I do think this board has had the clarity of thought and put things in the right sequence in terms of not confusing activity with accomplishment. Too often in state agencies and programs in general, people confuse activity with accomplishment. And I think this board and staff have been zeroed in on what moves the ball and moves the needle. My hope is that the next treasurer will be able to get our amount of money under management to surpass New Jersey. So that would be something I hope for the board going forward. And I want to personally thank all the staff. Katie, this will not be as long as the last one that you had to go through with the State Banking Commission in my last meeting. But I just want to draw a couple of examples to you. Melinda, I want to give you credit for correcting me about ARC of NC. There's two things that I've been constantly corrected on in over 8 years. One is when I said John Hopkins University. They're very particular about the S. It's Johns Hopkins University. And as Melinda knows, I used to always say the ARC of North Carolina, and I think it's ARC of North Carolina.
No, you got it backwards. Tilt it around. It's the ARC, not ARC.
What is it again?
It's the ARC. It's not an acronym.
Okay, the ARC.
I know. Our work is
ARC.
never
It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
That was my sarcasm and dry sense of humor.
My work is never done.
But thank you for that. The two things, lots of things I'll remember about my able experience. One is I've never been on a private jet. I've had many opportunities. But the look on the kids' faces at the campus of North Carolina State, a certain amount of the most elite of the athletes in the Special Olympics were put on private jets at Signature Airport to fly to for the World Games.
Orlando for the World Game.
Yeah, for the World Game.
US Game.
So one particular young lady, and I can't recall her name, but when I got up to give my remarks, because she was very proud of the fact that she was going to be on a private jet. So I got up and recited some of the lyrics of the song "You're So Vain," because there's part of that song about getting, flying on a private jet. So I remember all those experiences, the Special Olympics, and the joy on the faces of the friends, family, and loved ones. Secondly, a few years ago, I went to the Charlotte and spoke to the Phillips School, Phillips Academy on Providence Road, if my memory's right. And I hope I say this in the way that it actually happened. Cynthia was with me, and there was about 18 kids in the class and 16 assistants. So this was a highly specialized school for people who have disabilities. Some of these individuals required one-on-one attention. So as I was getting toward the end of my presentation, because I was trying to think about how to connect with these individuals and to sprinkle some financial literacy into all this, because the purpose of this school is so these people can achieve a better life experience and live on their own. And financial literacy is a big part of that. And I said, for example, Mrs. Falwell and I, we qualified for our senior citizen discount. And next year we'll be, eligible for Social Security. And this individual who is not very verbal. And when I tell you the story, if you cry, it's because her teacher cried when this happened. So this person who never says anything raised their hand and she said, my grandmother gets a senior citizen discount at Harris Teeter. And I said, wow. I said, how old's your grandmother? And she said, she's 70. And I said, she used to be 5 times older than I am, and now she's not. This young lady says, you're 65. And it was just the most unbelievable thing in the world to have somebody, you don't know what's going on in their head, but you know what was going on in her head that day. Because she was able to invert, analyze, and figure out that on the day I was born, her grandmother was 5 times older than I am.
So smart.
And now she's not. So I just wanted to share that story with you, Katie. I know you heard some other stories the other day, but that really happened. And it's an example of how important this program is and how important it is to advocate for the invisible. The invisible are the people that come into our banking system, especially elders who don't have enough money to have political influence in our society, which is a shame. Oftentimes they make a little too much money to get help from time to time. So they spend their whole life working 1 and 2 jobs, paying their taxes and praying for a better outcome. And that's what this program does. It tries to advocate for the invisible. And the invisible is not going to make campaign contributions. The invisible is probably not going to send you an email. The invisible are not going to pick up the phone and call you. But they always need our help. And I appreciate staff always thinking about the culture we've tried to create here to advocate for the invisible. So it's been an honor to chair this board and serve on this board and work with all of you. I wish you the very best in the future. And I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting in honor of all the invisible people of our state who need an advocate. Second.
Yes.
Okay. Second by Ms. Burns. Any further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Katie Boskin,
Aye.
Chris Egan,
Aye.
and Melinda Plouffe.
Aye.
Okay. We're adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.